Hello guys, I am very sorry for having not uploaded for about a month now, and the reason for that is right here, what I'm going to show you right now. We finally got given our summer project for university, so I wanted to focus all of my time on this to get it out of the way before carrying on with any of my own personal stuff, just because I'm the kind of person to put everything to the last minute, and I'm learning very quickly that that is not the way to do it, especially when it's artwork, because then you're not going to produce your best stuff. So I have spent the past month just working on this. Obviously not every day, I have a life as well as my artwork, but pretty much every day I would spend a little bit of time on this. So the project that we got given was basically to document stories and how they are all around us. So whether it was a story being told to you, or something that you overheard, or something you read about, something that happened to you personally, a dream, it could be fact or fictional, whatever, just documenting stories. And I figured for me the most interesting thing to do would be documenting my dreams and my nightmares, because of the fact that I don't ever go outside, really, ever, but I do have very bizarre dreams and nightmares, largely because of the medication that I am on. It makes you have weird dreams, so you know, they can be very interesting. So I will now show you guys through this and explain the dreams as they come along. This is one that I was like, I thought it was just so cute. So basically I was just walking around outside, and it was a very hot day. This was like during the middle of summer. It was very hot. I mean, we're coming to the end of summer now, but this was when it was really hot outside, and clearly that made its way into my dreams. And all of the bugs didn't want to be on the floor because it was too hot, so they piled up on top of each other, even though a lot of these bugs can fly. In my dream, they wanted to be walking, so they made piles of bugs. So yeah, this was the dream that made me want to do this entire project based off of my dreams, because I thought this was very funny, and then it made me think more about other dreams that I've had, and made me realise they are probably the most exciting stories that I'm going to get out of my personal life, seeing as I don't ever do anything. Oh, there's red transferring. Oh well. Oh, and there's this is just a mess. Oh well. This was another one. Obviously this whole thing is lots of them. So this was basically in a school. If like in school halls, I don't know if they have this in America, but here in the UK, a lot of the time in a school hall there will be some kind of stage at the front, and then you'll have like all the chairs and stuff in the main hall area, and this was what was on the stage. There was Dawn French and Ariana Grande in an inflatable car, with Ariana Grande teaching Dawn French how to sing. I mean, I'm not even particularly a fan of Ariana Grande, so I'm not sure how she came into my dream. I do really like Dawn French, so I understand that part, but not so much a fan of her. Then this was a dream about my little kitty cat. In the dream she had two little friends, and they would go around and have adventures together, and part of it was them being in a teacup ride. I don't know. Also, I'm really bad at writing. I'm terrible at spelling. I never did well in English at school. So if there is spelling mistakes, and if things don't make any sense, or if they sound bad to read. That is why I just gave it a go for once, because why not? This was a dream that I had when I was a little kid, but I remembered it because it was just interesting. So in the dream I had a massive hole in my front tooth, and I was eating spaghetti through the hole. I woke up and I was horrified, but looking back on it now as an adult, it is quite a funny dream. I like his face, I think. Yeah, I like him. But this was a dream where I was meant to be doing a project for university, unsurprisingly, and so I was looking for props to use within a play that we had to produce, like a little, like a puppet thing or whatever. So I was looking for a pirate man, and this is what I found, but he had, you know, a soft, squishy, like plush kind of body, like a baby doll kind of thing, but then his head looked like a real person's head. It's really creepy, but I liked him. Charity shops. I have a ridiculous amount of dreams about charity shops. I'm pretty sure I had one yesterday, if I remember rightly, but I have them all the time. Whether it's me shopping in them or working in them. There was one where I was trapped in one that only sold prom dresses. I don't know why they happen. I mean, I love charity shops and I do shop in them a lot. You know, I think they're better than shopping in any other kind of shop because you can find weird stuff. You go in with no expectation, you don't know what you're going to come out with, and you know, the money goes towards charities, so there's no negative there, but I don't know why I dream about them all the time, and it's very frustrating because a lot of the charity shops that I dream about are not real charity shops, and it's very frustrating being in the dream and knowing you're having a dream and you find something really cool that you want to buy, but it's like, I know I can't actually buy this because it's a dream. And it kind of explains itself once again. This is full of pencil erasings. Why wouldn't it be? Of course. Can't even get them out. Whatever. So this was a dream where my boyfriend and I put up our Christmas tree in the middle of summer. And I remember in the dream I was very concerned because we were putting this up and I was very excited about putting up a Christmas tree, but then I remembered that Halloween comes before Christmas and I was very concerned about having a Christmas tree up during Halloween, so I then wanted to decorate it with Halloween decorations. But I don't even like Christmas. It's not something that I particularly celebrate. Not a very good car park. This was a dream that I had where my boyfriend and I were in this place that we wanted to get away from. When we had parked the car, there was no issues, you know, it was just like a normal car park, but when we came back to it, we realised that the car park was actually in the middle of the sea, and we couldn't get back to our car because it was then underwater. You know, there should have been some kind of indication during this, because when we were walking back to the car park, we were walking along a beach. But in my head, it still hadn't registered until we looked at the car and saw that it was underwater. Not a very good car park. This was part of like a bigger dream, which I have put in. I think I've done at least one more page of that in here, but the rest of it was very scary and quite nightmarish, but this bit I found very funny, so when I woke up I decided to put it in a different section and have it separate from the rest of the dream, because it didn't really make any sense, and So my boyfriend and I, once again, we were staying in a hotel room, and in our hotel bathroom was a printer, like one of the big ones that you'd find in like an office or a school or anything like that. And yeah, it was in our bathroom, and then a man came along and was like, hey, can I use your printer? And we were like, of course you can, use the printer as much as you want. And instead of using the printer, he decided to steal our doorknob. Why? I don't know. Does that make any sense? Not particularly. But there you go. That is, that's what happens in my head. The beetle and the guinea pig. I loved this dream, and I woke up and I was very, very excited. In the dream, this really big beetle came in through a window and just clung onto my arm. It wouldn't let go of me, and I was like, okay, you can be my friend. And it was very pretty. In the dream, it was like kind of an iridescent pink kind of color, and it, like, as you looked at it in the sunlight, it would change. It was sparkly, really pretty. Obviously I couldn't paint it like that because I'd given myself a color scheme to go through the whole book, but I can remember it in my head. I know what it looked like. But yeah, in the dream I went out to the garage of the house that I was living in, which I don't actually live in, and in the garage was this massive big pen type thing, I guess, like a cage maybe, full of guinea pigs. I don't know why. I don't own any guinea pigs. My parents do, I don't, but they certainly don't have a garage full of guinea pigs. But whatever. And then I tried to get the beetle to go away. As much as I liked it, it was very pretty. I didn't want it to feel like it had been captured, and I wasn't letting it go. So I tried to be like, hey, you can, you know, you're free, do what you want, beetle. But instead, he flew inside of the guinea pig cage somehow and clung on to one of the guinea pigs and was riding him around like a little horse, and they then became best buds. So, I mean, I really enjoyed the dream, but I still don't understand it. And what is it with my brain and like stacking animals on top of each other? Specifically bugs being stacked on top of other things. I don't know. Shopping with orcs. This was like a whole really, really long dream of me just shopping in this massive shopping centre, which doesn't actually exist. But it had lots and lots of floors and lots of shops, and I came to one. I was right on the top floor, and I was looking through this shop. It was full of weaponry, like, you know, my kind of thing. And I was looking, I think I was looking at like helmets or something like that, and then I looked around me and I realised that this particular shop was full of the orcs and the urukai and the goblins and everything like that from the Lord of the Rings. Which, you know, whatever. I'm down with that. I love the Lord of the Rings. Wasn't expecting that to happen in the dream that I was having, because the rest of the dream was all very pretty, you know. In every shop there was normal people, normal shops, normal stuff. I went into one shop full of weaponry and armor and Lord of the Rings type stuff, I suppose, and then it was just full of these creatures. It was fun, whatever. This is a dream that I had when I was a very little kid. I actually don't remember having this dream, but my parents have told me about it multiple times because it was very funny. Apparently I was ill at the time and kind of like a little bit loopy, and I was just babbling on about this dream. So in the house there was a staircase that was like really broken and falling apart, and someone asked me why the staircase was falling apart, and apparently it was because an elephant had stomped holes all up the staircase, and the way that we then got up the staircase was by using a rocket ship. So, I mean, to be honest, this is the kind of dream that I would still have to this day. It's you know, no different. But I thought it was cute, and I think he's cute, so. But wouldn't you like it if an elephant made holes in your stairs and then you had to take a rocket ship to get up your stairs? I think that's very exciting. So now we come to the middle of the book, which is just me asleep in bed. Ooh. And so yeah, explaining this a little bit, if I sleep all through the night, then I only really tend to have dreams. But if I sleep through the night and then I wake up for a little bit and then I go back to sleep, then I will have nightmares. I don't know why, I don't know how it works that way, but perhaps it's some kind of like something to do with the sleep disturbance. I really don't know, but I only have nightmares in the mornings, like if I've had my sleep disturbed. If it happens like during the night, like say I've gone to sleep at 10 o'clock and then I wake up at like midnight and then I go back to sleep, I'll still be absolutely fine. It only really tends to happen in the morning. If I wake up at like 5 a.m. and then go back to sleep for a couple hours, that will be when I have a nightmare. I don't know, I don't understand it, but that is how it seems to happen all the time now, so I've gotten used to it. This was another part of the dream with the printer in the bathroom where they stole the doorknob. I was in the shower and there was just lots of blood. The shower was blood. I don't know. It wasn't enjoyable. Don't judge me for this. But when I was a kid, I had a nightmare about Danny DeVito marrying my mum, and I have a massive fear of Danny DeVito. I don't know why, he just really freaks me out, he makes me really uncomfortable. I don't know what it is. Like, I'm sure some of you guys would have seen that Tumblr post of, oh my hands sway, would have seen that Tumblr post of someone editing that post about being scared of vampires and having to change the clock to like scare away the vampires, and they'd edited vampires to say Danny DeVito. And when I first read that, I was like, oh my god, someone else shares my fear of Danny DeVito. And then I realised it had been edited from vampires, and I was like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. Maybe this person doesn't share my fear of Danny DeVito, but he really creeps me out and I can't watch anything that he is in. Having to look up pictures of him to draw this was like really, really hard to do. So yeah. Yeah, there you go. That's, And then Zombie Postman. I actually really, really enjoyed this dream, but I figured I'd put it in the nightmare section rather than in the dream section, because, you know, a little bit scary. I woke up a bit like, oh, that was weird, but then, you know, I love zombies. I tend to prefer the dark stuff in life, so whatever. And yeah, it's just, I'm pretty sure I've spoken about this dream in particular in my last video, or one a couple of videos ago. I'm not sure. I know I definitely talked about it at some point. It might have been, did I do a speed drawing of my zombie? I might have done. If I did, it's probably on that. I don't know. But yeah, just a postman that was a zombie and he was cycling towards me. How would a zombie cycle? I don't know. But there he is doing some cycling. This is a dream that I used to have a lot and I found very, very disturbing. And I absolutely hate it, but they've stopped now, luckily. But they used to happen a lot. It would be me drowning myself again and again and again. I don't know why. I didn't want to die at the time. I had, you know, I wasn't feeling suicidal or anything like that. But it's just, yeah. It happened again and again, and it was horrible to see. And it is a fear of mine as well, because I don't know how to swim. I cannot swim. I've tried to learn many, many times. I still cannot do it. I'm 21 years old, don't know how to swim. But yeah. this was a nightmare that I had when I was a kid. I was probably about like 10, 11 at the time maybe. And I still remember it to this day because it was very bizarre and very like, it's something that I couldn't forget. So basically I was being chased by this train. It wasn't on any kind of tracks or anything like that. It was just running on its own somehow. And it had this eye at the front of it so that it could see where I was, and it was like staring at me and following me. If any of you guys have played, I think it's Sonic Adventure 2? Was that what it was called? I don't know. A Sonic game for the GameCube. It was the first level in it when you had to run away from like this big truck thing that was like driving up right behind you. And the kind of anxiety that you get from that, having to run away from that big truck right behind you, was the same kind of feeling I got from this dream. So if any of you guys have played that game, you know what I mean. It was a game with the Chow Gardens. If you know what I'm on about, this gave me that same kind of feeling of just pure anxiety. This one was really recently. Basically I was on this little island type thing that had a hotel on it. This island was like, it wasn't connected to anything, so it would just kind of move around in the sea. And everyone, like, my boyfriend at the time had left. Not at the time, he's still my boyfriend now, but whatever. He was with me at the start of this dream, and then somehow he disappeared, and I was like trying to contact him and I couldn't find him anywhere. And then the hotel was on fire and I was trapped because this had moved away from any other kind of land. And yeah, then I was just trapped in a fire on an island in the middle of nowhere. It was really quite unpleasant. This is a nightmare that I have a lot, and it is that I cannot get in contact with my boyfriend at all. I have a lot of nightmares where it's either me being somewhere and him just disappearing, or him not replying to my messages, him not answering my phone calls. I mean, it's probably like some kind of sign that I've got a fear of abandonment or something. He's not like this at all in real life. He always responds to me as quickly as he can. He's a wonderful man, but I have a lot of nightmares about him disappearing. And then this again was a really, really long dream, and there was a lot that led up to this part, but this was right at the end of the dream, and this was the bit that kind of stuck with me most. There was a dead body. I don't know who had killed the person. I don't know who the person that had been killed was, but it was in like this big trailer park kind of thing, and the person originally was hidden under some sofa cushions, but then the person had moved the body from underneath the sofa into the boot of a car, because there was like this big area full of like wrecked cars, kind of like cars that were left for scrap or whatever, and they'd put it into a boot of one of them. And for some reason the police were coming after me and another girl that I was with. I don't know who the girl was. It wasn't anyone in particular, it was just a girl. And yeah, the police for some reason were after us rather than whoever had actually killed the person. It was very weird. This was a nightmare that I had once again when I was very little. I was probably about 10 or 11 again, and the dream was that me and my dad were on a beach, and we were for some reason celebrating my birthday. It wasn't my birthday at the time, but in the dream it was. And then this big shark came up onto the beach, and his nose hit right against, like, I don't know if they have this anywhere else in the world, but in the UK a lot of the time at a beach they will have a wall right at the end of where the beach area is. So they'll have like a car park or a pavement or whatever on the other side. So yeah, it's just like to create a barrier from where the beach is to where the rest of the land is doing its thing. So it came up right against the wall of the beach, and all I could see in the dream was like this massive eye that was just staring at me, and like the eye was like the size of my head. It was huge and terrifying. Luckily in the dream it didn't do anything, it didn't bite anyone, it didn't attack anyone or anything like that. It was just this big shark that came up onto the beach and was very, very scary. When I was younger I did have a huge fear of sharks. Now that I'm older I love them, and learning more about them, you know, they're a very interesting and sweet creature, really. But yeah, when I was a kid I had a huge fear of them. And I don't know why, because I never watched Jaws or anything like that as a kid. I never was one to particularly go swimming or anything like that. I was just aware of the existence of sharks, and I was for some reason absolutely terrified of them. So yeah. Oh, another zombie one. I have a lot of zombie dreams and zombie nightmares, but they are my favourite, largely because I really love zombies. I don't know why. If they ever were to become a real thing, I would be absolutely horrified. But when they happen in my dreams, or if I'm watching a TV show or a movie or whatever to do with zombies, I think they're very exciting, very cool. I like dead stuff, so, you know, it kind of fits in with the stuff that I like. But this was a dream where I was at some kind of football game, which I don't know why, because I don't like sports. But I was there, and the entire stadium was full of people, but then zombies came like piling through the little doorways to get onto the football pitch. I don't know what they're called, but yeah, the zombies just came flooding in, like loads of them, a whole like horde of zombies from every angle onto the football pitch. And they were killing the people that were on the pitch, and everyone who was in the stands and everything was like trying to run out, and it was scary. I think the worst thing about this dream, I didn't draw them the way that I saw them in my dream, but they had massive, really deformed heads, and they were really just horrifying looking. And I don't know why, because I've never had a zombie dream where zombies have looked this particular way, but their heads were really huge, and it looked like they were heavy, and they were struggling to keep their heads like held up. And it kind of looked like, imagine if you got like a ball of plasticine, you just kind of squidged it around a bit and got it into some kind of misformed shape, you know, nothing in particular, just lumpy and bumpy and in a weird shape was what their heads looked like, and it was just uncomfortable. I don't know why. I did not like this dream at all. If you know me at all, if you're a friend of mine or anything like that, you will most likely know that I have a big interest in true crime. I like to learn about it a lot, not just like serial killers or murderers or anything like that, but also you know, people who have kidnapped people, people involved in like sex crimes and paedophilia and stuff like that. I have absolutely no like adoration towards them. I'm not fans of the people who do this. I do not agree with what they have done at all. But it's just something that I am very, very interested in learning about, because, you know, it's bizarre for someone to have such a messed up state of mind to be able to commit these kinds of crimes. But because I have a large interest in them, all of that kind of area, I know a lot about it. I spend a lot of time reading up on stuff, watching tons of documentaries, just all the time. I'm learning about this stuff. Like if I'm sat down doing some artwork, I will most likely have some kind of true crime documentary on in the background. And one night I had a dream that I was watching Ed Gein cut apart one of his victims. And it was very unpleasant. I mean, that's what I get for looking at crime scene photos and knowing what these evil people can do to other people. But yeah, I guess just the image of the woman hanging there, like, it's almost like, you know what a butcher does to a pig when they're preparing them to be like sent off for food and whatever. Like, I don't even know, because I don't eat meat. I don't know what goes on that whole kind of situation, but it was very much that kind of thing that he did to her. You know, he had her strung up and cut right down the middle, and it was just so gross. But I saw it. I was watching it being done through his eyes, and it was just horrifying. I knew in the dream that I wasn't the one doing it and that I was just watching it, but I was seeing it as if I was him, and it was very, very scary, and I woke up and just felt awful. So this was not an enjoyable dream, but I guess that's what I get for spending a lot of my time learning about this stuff. And then the last one, this was another dream that I had. This was part of the drawing before of the elephant on the staircase. This was part of the same dream. But the light bulbs, they weren't very nice, and they had big scary teeth and were very aggressive and shouty and mean. Very mean light bulbs. You don't want to have mean light bulbs. So there you go, and that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know it's quite bizarre, but whatever. I enjoyed doing this a lot, and hopefully it will be suitable for the assignment that we were set. This is meant to be used to inform our stories and stuff later on in the year, because the majority of this next year at university is based off of narratives and creating stories, so this is what I will be using to inform those stories. But yeah, so now that this is done and it's out of the way, I will be back to making videos often, as much as I can. I have a few that are waiting and ready to go that I just didn't have time to finish editing and fully put together while I was doing this. They were filmed before I started this, but I haven't had time to complete them. So hopefully they'll be coming soon. And I will be back on to making my own personal art all day, every day. So if you guys would like to see that, then please do like and subscribe. And if you enjoyed this or have anything to say about this, leave a comment, let me know what you thought. And I will hopefully see you guys in the next video. Bye!